Greetings, this is Lauren, and we're going to work on the special soap that I am creating in tribute of our son Francisco Malasela Kaboko. Dumelang Bayeti. Welcome visitors. First off, I'm going to put my goat milk lye solution into my oils. Send them down this spatula and do some mixing. I'm only doing a 2-pound batch. I've already done one 2-pound batch, and this is my second. I had created a soap that I thought was going to be a flag soap. And I'm not adept at doing that very well. So these little tiny pieces were grated, and each one of them has blue and white and black in it, which represents the colors of the Botswana flag. So I am going to work with this batter until we have reached emulsion. I don't want this to get too thick. The fats in the goat milk can create the tracing much quicker. So I'm going to just leave it at that at this point and do some hand blending. I showed an unboxing of my African musk fragrance oil. I've never made anything with fragrance oil before, and so this is just a special recipe for me because of that. So I'm going to go ahead and add my fragrance oil. And I have equal parts of the cold processed soap batter here and equal parts of these grated soap pieces. I vacillated in between using a darker batter or a lighter batter. But what made me choose to go with the goat milk batter is that when we lived in Africa, we actually got our first goat from Francisco's family. His dad was very generous in giving us butter, and she was with Kid. She was our first goat. We'd never had any animals in the States, but when we went to Botswana, we were given that opportunity through Francisco's family. And so I thought it would just be really special to put these pieces of soap into a goat milk soap. I want this to get a little bit thicker before I actually pour it into the mold. When we went to Africa, we went with a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 9-month-old, 3 sons, and it definitely was a different kind of a lifestyle. But we met Francisco's family very soon after we had arrived in the village, and they lived in an adjacent village about 10 kilometers away. So that's how Francisco first came into our life. I'm going to go ahead and pour this batter into the mold. Little did we know when we stepped on African soil that we would develop such lasting relationships with the precious people there, and particularly with the Koboko family. 5 years of our family's lives turned into 33 years of extended family ties. I want these pieces to kind of float, so I'm just going to tamp my spatula down in there and kind of move these guys around. It doesn't seem tremendously thick, but I think it's thick enough to suspend most of these. And I'm not going to do anything fancy on the top. I'm just going to leave it like this. We will spritz the top with some alcohol. And let it sit for 28 to 36 hours so that the goat milk can saponify well before we try to cut it. Our son Francisco has now been involved in a lot of official positions in Botswana. And to think that we've had a tiny part in encouraging him is such a blessing to me. In October of this year, Lord willing, we will visit again, this time to witness Francisco's parliamentary appointment. And I'd like to use the net proceeds of the sale of these soaps to provide money for the advancement of a trust fund that Francisco has set up to bring aid and encouragement to the education and ministry of children in churches in Botswana. So if you would join me in that, I would love that. I will leave a link below of Francisco's trust fund Facebook account, and hopefully we will be able to encourage him and the children and the churches and the people of Botswana in a lasting way. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I pray that you all have a wonderful day, and God bless.